And here we are with week 6 of RBY Recap. Week 6, it's been a good week. I think week 4, week 5, the games were a bit low quality, honestly, or at least lower than they could have been. But week 6, I think most people played really well, and so we have some interesting games to go through and talk about. And so, yeah, let's get right into it. For the first series of the week, we have Troller against ziloXX. Zalo is subbing in for Mako, who has not had a great tournament so far, so she has taken a week break. But Zalo is also competent. He got top 4 in a global championship a couple years ago. Yeah, I think so. So he's easily competent. And in game 1, Xylo's Executor dodges 2 rock slides from Troller's Raiden, and he also dodges like 2 Blizzards later. So when the enemy Executor is immune, it's kind of difficult to win games of Pokemon. So Troller loses that one, but it's just RBY luck sometimes, or just Pokemon luck even. So that was game 1. In game 2, it was a lot closer. Troller still didn't get a ton of breaks, but it was less severe, and it was actually a very close, very entertaining game, but he pulled it off in the end. And now we are on to game 3, where Troller is trying to defend his undefeated record against Xylo. And the matchup is obviously garbage. Jinx against Chansey. Obviously not what you want to see. Now Troller goes Cloyster on the Blizzard to absorb it and try to beat Psychic. But Psychic doesn't come. Xylo predicts that Troller will just use this to pivot back to Chansey, and with the extra Blizzard he gets a freeze. So Troller is immediately in a dangerous position. But let's see how he handles this. He goes Damn. He doesn't try to Wake Starmie, because that probably just invites Tauros and more danger. But this Jam, even with a few drops, he's fine. Yeah, he goes Starmie to clear the drops. Xylo reads it and goes Lax, but there's a Cloyster here, so it's still okay. But this Cloyster will have a hard time making progress against a back Starmie that is completely healthy. Thunderwave comes and Troller has to take it on Zam, which is not ideal, but he has no other options because they got frozen and slept. So now Xylo is a Pokemon up, or 2 Pokemon up even, but one of these Pokemon is Jinx, so it's still within the realm of winnability for Troller. He scouts counter here. It's a Body Slam for it, but now there's a Hyper Beam problem, and Troller plays around that problem and Body Slams into Raiden. And now I want to stress how risky it is to do these plays. If Raiden gets paralyzed by a Body Slam, he's so much worse at breaking than usual. He's lower than a Jam. He cannot even pressure a paralyzed Jam. He's awful. So this is a very high risk play, trying to call this Hyper Beam. And he doesn't get punished, but he ends up going for just a trade here. Blizzard for EQ, so now Troller's Tauros is low, and Xylo gets out with 21% Raiden. Now Chansey is here, goes Lax on T-Wave. This is a bit of an odd play. I don't know what he was trying to get. Maybe a switch out. I don't know. Why would you switch out? I don't know. This is just always T-Wave from Troller, I think. Maybe predicting. I don't know what Xylo predicted. Maybe he just wanted to switch in on T-Wave, honestly, because he lives Psychic. So Troller goes Chansey to try and absorb Explosion, I assume, and then goes back to Cloyster on Body Slam. But there's still this healthy Starmie in the way, so Cloyster can only really try his chances with Freeze. And Troller at this point, since he is so far behind, he has to really go for these freezes. FP, he doesn't get to T-Wave here. Jinx. Again FP, but Jinx is not scary at all because 2 Blizzard PP and everything. Jinx is not doing anything for Zylo this game. She should be kept to switch into explosions, and that's about it. But okay, Lux gets in, and finally Troller gets the break that he was looking for. 2 Blizzards, they were not it. FPs on Jinx, they were not it. This body slam, finally, this is it. And lucky for Troller, he's also has Hyper Beam. And well, this crits, but you don't need to crit to deal 67 to Chansey with Lex Hyper Beam. So now Troller is back in the game. Now all of a sudden 4v6 is now 4v5, and one of the Pokemon is a Jinx with 0 turns left. So now this is an even game again. And the Rhydon is also very shipped, the Lex is very shipped. Now sure, Troller is also, you know, Cloyster and Tauros not in the best of shapes, but this is pretty much even, I would say. Or at least close enough to even that it's still a game of Pokemon. T-Bolt comes down, this is probably Psychic Thunderbolt from this, because if Blizzard, you would see Blizzard. This T-Wave, good reads from Zylo actually, to avoid paralysis on this Starmie. Because if this Starmie gets paralyzed, Cloyster can clamp everything down. Like it's Cloyster City if this Starmie gets paralyzed. So great reads from Zylo. I mean, I don't know what Troller clicked on 42, but 43 and 44 he got right. Now, Cloyster comes back on Lax, and Lax heals up. And this turn is a big turn because Troller decides to go for Blizzard. But here you could explode. You could explode because if Snorlax stays in, then Snorlax dies. And you can play with Zam pretty much. It's not clean because your Zam needs time to recover, but the main pressure point against Alakad Zam is gone, and sure he has Rhydon, but it's like your Lax probably, if you're Reflect Body Slam Hyper Beam, your Lax forces this Rhydon out, forces Starmie in, and on Starmie you can go Zam and heal up. So if you land Explosion on Starmie, it's probably very good for Troller this endgame. If you land that was the thing I just analyzed, is if you land Explosion on Snorlax. If you land Explosion on Starmie, it's even better, because your Lax is just God mode. Your Lax, it beats Rhydon, it beats Tauros, and the only thing Zylo can do is mirror it with enemy Lax. But enemy Lax lets your Zam heal up and pressure, and Zylo is out of Psychic Switch-ins after Starmie explodes. So on this turn you had 2 great explosion targets, Starmie and Snorlax, and this can go very bad if Zylo reads it and goes Jinx, and Jinx is a plausible switch into Cloyster as well. So it's understandable that Troller went for Blizzard. And I talked to Troller about this game, and he also explained to me that he thinks this situation he can play safe forever. He can go Zam on Starmie and heal up. He can go Cloyster on Lax and heal up. And he is just never in danger of losing because Zylo cannot break. But the problem with these ideas is that you give your opponent turns to attack into you. Starmie gets turns to T-Bolt into Zam. This Zam could FP and die. You know, there's some risk involved. If you go offensive and you have an offensive win path where your opponent doesn't get to click many attacks, then they're less likely to get lucky on those few attacks. But you know, it's entirely reasonable to Blizzard here. It's just a safe play. And if he had exploded, I think that's a big what if. But he doesn't go for it. And now this Lex is in. He takes a Psychic Chip. Now he wakes up, gets T-Waved, and so this was Troller's plan. You go back to Zam on Starmie. You heal up. You T-Wave this. He's not breaking you. You just go back to Cloyster and rest. Yeah, the game had other plans. And now this is very, very hard now. Now this is very hard again because, I mean, Troller maybe can win with his Snorlax if this FP is once or twice. but this is very hard. He has lost his passive. He gave up his offensive win condition when he didn't explode his cloister, and he let his defensive win condition get crit away. I mean, obviously it's not his fault he got crit, but that's the game sometimes. Yeah, he gets a crit here, but Zalo is timely with the safe rest, so no use for that. And from here on out, I mean, we can just kind of skip forward because there's nothing really to be seen. Yeah, this crit from ziloXX is a bit ugly, and well, it's just going to be, yeah, okay, sure. I mean, it was always going to be this. Enemy Lax plus Starmie had no reliable answers. You needed Cloister to handle the enemy Lax. Here he tries to bait, I don't know what. Yeah, explosion. Okay, he gets it too. But okay, now unless this Starmie insta-wakes, it's over. It doesn't. So yeah. Troller loses his undefeated record to ziloXX. Gets very unlucky, honestly. Game 1, very unlucky. Game 3, this lacks crit on Cloister, very, very unlucky. He, obviously, Troller is a perfectionist. He always kind of looks for ways to do better, but this series, it's not a lot. There is not a lot. Zelo did not play bad, but he did not play like Troller. He needed a lot of help to get there, but I mean, walks away from his debut with a victory against the best RBY of the last 2-3 years. So it's not. He can't be sad about this. Yeah, it sucks for Troller, but he had been fairly neutral with luck first 5 weeks, so that's fair. That's just Pokemon, you know. Sometimes this happens to you, and so interesting series. Troller streak miraculously broken. There we go. That was the first series of the week. Second series of the week was Chuva against Nails. And game 1, well, okay, I need to approach this from a bit of a broader angle. Every time somebody plays against Nails, they engineer some counter team shit. And a lot of the time, those counter teams are a bit Zapdos exposed, but they beat everything else in Nails' scout. And so once again, this happened last week too, I think. Nails gets counter-teamed one game in game 2, but he brings Zapdos on game 1, and so he wins that one easily because True had some Executor Starmie shit that just gets rolled by Zapdos, and so Nails rolls True on game 1 by bringing Zapdos, but then he decides he's had enough free wins, so he goes back to his ugly teams, and the ugly team gets completely counter-teamed and destroyed. It's just an impossible, unwinnable game on matchup alone in game 2. And so now we get to game 3, and let's see if we get an actual game of Pokemon, or if it's all going to be decided on matchups. Okay, Jinx against Starmie. Jinx is not... you don't see a lot of people bringing Jinx into Nails usually, so this is a bit interesting. So, okay. Nails goes Executor on Tauros. Now, Executor can scare Tauros off with Sleep Powder, but Executor is a very frail Pokemon, and Nails needs to sleep something still. He has not slept anything. So you need this Executor to be healthy, to be able to pressure things. And so sending it on Tauros early on, this is just bad planning. Like, you cannot load a team that needs Executor to sleep something without a plan for Jinx. Like, you need to have a plan for Jinx. Like, if I get slapped by Jinx, do I switch out Starmie immediately? Because if I don't want to give Tauros a free turn, what do I do? What is my plan against Jinx? Like, this is I think it's a basic thing. Well, okay, maybe it's not the most basic, but I personally always try to have a detailed plan for every lead matchup. Because if my team cannot handle one of the lead matchups, then obviously it's a bad team. And so, if Nails has to risk Body Slam crit or para on turn 3 against Jinx, I think this is bad planning. And he does get para. I know this game is impossible for Nails. Like, obviously, there's still a lot to play. Obviously, you can still get luck back. But, like, what is this? Like, when are you going to sleep anything with 71% tag against Jinx? Like, you need to get every turn right, and you need to get very lucky as well, because even double edge here, like, Jinx is just faster than you, threatens Blizzard, so she can rest freely. It's insane. Okay, so Nails just gives up on dealing damage to this Jinx, so it's probably not even double edge, he just doubles lax. But what is lax going to do? Like, you have to respect counter. Okay, so you have to respect counter, so you can't just body slam forever. There you go. So Chuva gets a turn to T-Wave. He doesn't even take it, he just goes for the heal. No, he T-Waves. Okay, and so, yeah, Nails just gives up on sleep. Like, this is saying, okay, I guess I don't sleep this game, haha. And it's like, why? Like, okay, sure, there's a Jinx, but like, why? Like, sleeping Jinx is not that big of a victory, I get it. But like, this just... I don't think you need to do this, man. I really don't think you have to do this. I really think you can just go Jinx on... Go Chansey on Jinx and Seismic toss it down, and then you have a clean egg, and then you're fine. I don't know. Well, okay, now we have this situation where Nils has Reflect Chansey and Chuva has Ice Beam Chansey, so he's going to get PP stalled. He will have to switch out eventually. So to Nils' credit, he should get another T-Wave on something else out of this. So, you know, you give up sleep, but at least you get 2 Thunder Waves on Zem and Chansey. But Zem decides to go a bit God mode here. And now that the chipped Executor comes into play again, because this is just awkward. Like, you want to explode. And again, I assume Nails went lax because he predicted Chuva to go Jinx on Explosion. And so he doubled lax in. Knowing that lax on Psychic is also reasonable, and lax on Seismic Toss is also reasonable, so Psychic is the worst play to be on the receiving end of if you go for this lax, but it's also completely fine to lax here. Now another Psychic, and this time it's a crit with a drop. Well, I mean, the drop doesn't matter, but yeah. Now it's really bad. I mean, he got fairly unlucky, I would say, with this crit. I mean, did he even? He got unlucky with the drops on Chansey and it snowballed. This Chansey should have landed a T-Wave most of the time. Yeah, so a bit of bad luck from Nails, but I think he put himself in a position to be susceptible to this. Now, yeah, okay. Nails rescues his 6% lax by exploding it on Jinx. Congratulations, but Chansey is paralyzed, so you're still not sleeping. And Chuva is just in a great position. Because, I mean, look at this lax now. Like, Chansey can do anything, cannot switch in while paralyzed. Executor cannot switch in while paralyzed, and Tauros, Raiden have to stare at Reflect. So, yeah, it's Body Slam Hyper Beam, so Raiden does a decent job against it, but not that good. The Snorlax just has time to heal up. And interestingly, Chuva doesn't go for rest again. He just says, okay, I've had enough. If I kill this Raiden, I'm good for the rest of the game. And he has a reason for that. After Lax dies, he sends in Zapdos. And so once he knows that he doesn't need to risk another set of Raiden Earthquakes that could get ugly with a crit, he just goes for, or even, he could even get doubled on rest. So he just goes for the attacks, knowing that after this, there's a Zapdos, and this Zapdos will be very dangerous. And indeed, he immediately gets one crit, and the game is just kind of over. Yeah, Nels goes for freeze, he has to. But this is just done now. Yeah, I mean there's a full HP Taurus here. It's just completely over. And so, yeah, chuva continues winning games against big names. He's only lost to me and Troller so far, which, you know, if you had to lose to anybody, I would pick these two, because they're good players. Yeah, no, chuva, very good performance, honestly. Nails, I mean, this is a reasonable team to bring, but I still think, like, on team building alone, I have no problems with this, but I think you cannot go Executor on turn 3. I think if you do that, something went wrong with your pre-game plans. And yeah, Nails continues to not impress me at all with his team choices. Obviously, as a player, he's fine, but he needs to do way more in the planning stage to actually win games consistently, and he has not done that this year. So yeah, I mean, I think Nails looked better last week. He won a game. He brought Zapdos, which is great, and he brought Zapdos again this week, and that game also looked great. But he really needs to diversify his scout, because he keeps pulling the same 6-7 teams and only one of them is really working for him. So yeah, that's my take on Nails in general. And chuva, I mean, he's just doing great. I have nothing to say about chuva. Everybody who has been watching him knows he's the real deal. And I power ranked him. He was power ranked 10th, but I power ranked him 6th pre-season, because I mean he's a very new player, very fresh, to the Smogon tournament scene at least. But if you watched him play before SPL and you were good at RBY, I think everybody could tell, like, chuva was for real. He was actually a crazy good player, and I'm happy he's showing this. I'm happy people are being proven wrong. I'm happy as he got a chance. Like, honestly, it's so rare for somebody like him to get a chance on the big stage, and I think if the auction had gone slightly different, he might be undrafted or bench warming, and that would be a great shame. So I'm very happy that things have turned out this way for chuva. That's great to see. Third series of the week was Alice against Serpi, and I'm just going to show game 1, so let's get into it. It's Jinx against Dam. Jinx gets Lovely Kiss. Jinx gets Blizzard. Surf. This is dangerous for Jinx. This is very dangerous for Jinx. Like, if this was Surf Crit, Jinx can die. Like, this is extremely, extremely risky. But predicts recover and Blizzards again on the off chance of a freeze. And what would you know? It's a freeze. Okay. Just bad play rewarded, straight up. Like, you should not Blizzard here. Like, even if you read recover, go click something with actual pressure. Like, it's high risk, very questionable reward. But I mean, the reward lands, and now Serpi has to try and slip through this Jinx. Does he get it? No. Alright, so Jinx is healed up. Alice should probably switch this to sleep block. But no, she stays in, and now Taurus comes in for free. So Serpi playing well, Alice just kind of clicking moves and getting fortunate, I think. Let's see if Serpi can climb back from this mountain. Chansey on lags. Counter comes out. So good from Serpi to land this, but he's already losing, and giving up his Chansey leaves him with 3 Pokemon: Tauros, Snorlax, and a Mystery 6th. So yeah, and that's against an entire team. So let's see. I mean, Chansey is technically still alive, but I mean, it's at 7%. Surely she's not going to get a way back into the game. Surely not. Okay, so we get Jinx on Egg again. Serpi doubles Chansey, or switches Chansey even, to try to heal, and to Alice's credit, she gets a correct double with Tauros here. So gets a free slam, doesn't crit it. Now this is another slam, again no crit, so Serpi gets away with decent luck here. Okay, lax. This time it crits on Reflect. I don't really like Reflect, I think. I mean, okay, I guess you're like, I'm far behind, I have to get lucky. Let's gamble for it, but I think the odds of this working are pretty low, so I mean, now Serpi is forced to go egg, and he gets paired. This is just really ugly, and you're thinking, why the fuck are you showing this? This is just going to be a stomp, but hold on. Chansey gets to heal up. And I think Alice really didn't need to do this. She really could have done, like, at this point, it's just Tauros and egg. Like, you can even just fucking body slam the Executor. Like, you don't need much to finish off this team at this point. It's 7%. Okay, let's go back a couple turns. Let's go here, turn 24. This Chansey and these Lex, they're slow as fuck, and they're very low HP. So as long as you have anything that can 1v1 Tauros and finish off a tripped Executor, you can just fucking Hyper Beam this turn. Like, you just Hyper Beam, and it's fine. Like, you get slapped, so what? Like, nothing bad can happen if you Hyper Beam this turn. I mean, even miss on sleep, then what? Like, you still probably win this endgame. I don't know Alice's 6th, I don't remember, because, I mean, we'll see it soon, but I don't remember right now. So, Alice totally, like, from this position, incredible to fumble this. Chansey gets back some HP. Serpi is still not out. He still needs to figure out how to switch into Tauros, but he has a Zam that can tank an Hyper Beam, and he does it. Serpi finally gets one break here with one crit, so now it's bad. Okay, Raiden, okay, now that slightly justifies the switch, the no Hyper Beam. But even then, I would say, even with a Tauros at 100%, even then, I would say you still go for that, because, I mean, I assume, again, I don't remember, but I think there's a me here in the back, and Starmie just wins here. So, like, Starmie beats Tauros, if once you ship Executor, everything else is already dead, like, it's just over. So, yeah, I don't know. Earthquake comes down, but now Chansey's healed back up, and so she's lost her window to win with Starmie. Yeah, see? There was just a very simple path to victory with a Hyper Beam there, and it's just completely missed. And so Serpi has a chance here. Doesn't get Psychic Crit twice, thankfully. And so now Serpi's back. Now Serpi's just back. Like, look at Serpi's chance now. Freeze can stop it, but that's it. That's it. It's only Freeze. And on the Freeze fishing, Serpi sees that he can sack them and heal Snorlax up. And so from Chansey and Lex at both less than 10%, Serpi has them both healed up. I mean, he gets on an Ice Beam crit here, which is unfortunate, but he just goes for it again. And now he gets a bit more lucky. And so, yeah, now he's healthy, he's fine. There's a Sing Chansey, but this... Okay, so first of all, why are you running Sing Chansey with Jinx? Huh? What is going on here? But more so than that, she had, like, this maybe would have worked. Like, if you land Sing here, then you have free Ice Beam and you'll probably win. But you should not have to rely on hitting Sing to win this game. Like, this is already fumbled way too far. Executor gets to explode, and now it's just kind of over, honestly. Like, Lex gets to pressure. Like, even if you don't get FP, even if you pressure this Lex out with Psychics, there's still a chance that can Seismic Toss you a million times. Like, obviously this Starmie, 32 recovers. It's a lot of recovers, but you have so little offensive pressure that eventually you're probably going to just FP to death, or even get PP stalled by Chansey defensively. because this is counter seismic toss, so quite a few PP. But as it turns out, there will be no need for that, because this Snorlax doesn't intend to FP anytime soon, and so it's just over. Or is it? Or is it? Is it over? You thought it was over? It's not over. Because this Jinx woke up and Serpi sacked Alakazam. And so now there's a Lovelykiss threat. And the situation here is, if Chansey goes to sleep, it's over. It's over. Jinx just wins. Or even, you can even just go Tauros on sleeping Chansey. Like, you're probably, like, Serpi would need to win the speed tie and crit the Jinx to get out. But there's also another line that Serpi can take. And it's this. You Tauros on Lovelykiss, and this devil Chansey still fucking wins. Unless there's these 4 Blizzards can freeze it, obviously, but Chansey is probably going to be fine. And so, yeah, Chansey can T-Wave, so the odds are always on her side here. And the thing about this is that Jinx theoretically can rest stall, but once Serpi gets low on Seismic Tosses, he doesn't need to click Seismic Toss anymore, he can just go for PP stall. Because obviously, again, it's a counter Seismic Toss Chansey, she has a million more PP. And so going for a few Seismic Tosses here is correct, because you deny Jinx chances to click Blizzard, which is the only way you lose this really, is a Blizzard freeze. And so going for T-Waves and Seismic Tosses is definitely correct, because you force Jinx to rest, you can fish for a few, 1 or 2 FPs and you're fine, you just kill Jinx and then you kill Tauros and you win. But, yeah, okay, so 1 Blizzard comes out, no freeze. Now we see Serpi going for it. Oh, there it is. 2 FPs. Can he get the third? He does get the third, and it's over. And it's over, and Alice needs to crit Hyper Beam. She does not crit Hyper Beam. And Serpi wins. And I just wanted to show this because I think it's one of the... It's just a crazy how Serpi found all the right lines to rescue this game, despite no luck. Like, he crit Tauros Body Slam on enemy Tauros. That's it. That's all the luck he got the entire game, and he still won. Obviously, I don't take a great deal of joy in showing Alice play like this, because I just want people to do better, and I know Alice was not feeling great about this game either. But I just had to show this for Serpi's sake, because this is a fucking miracle, and it's incredible what he did. And I also got to show, that Tauros Hyper Beam on Executor turn, where Alice had a clean way to end with Starmie. This Starmie was what? Maybe this was Psychic Thunderbolt, so it wasn't the cleanest yet, because you still needed to chip Executor down. But even still, like, you can just go for the Hyper Beam and then Rhydon comes in, and you're completely fine. So that was that. Yeah, I mean, I just think it was mesmerizing to watch Serpi pull this back, and yeah, it's just all praise to him. Some criticism to Alice, but mostly praise to Serpi. Because this was great. It's just fun to watch when somebody gets nothing and still fights back. It's incredible. It was one of the most fun games to spectate for me, the entire tournament. He did everything. Like, okay, let me actually go back a few turns. When was this? I want to show the Lovelykiss turn again. 60. Let's go to turn 60. On this turn, look at this position, okay? This Jinx can Blizzard any number of times. Like, you do not need to rush this Lovelykiss. you can just Blizzard. Like, it's a mind game here. Like, even if you get T-Waved, you still have Lovely's threat on Chansey the next turn. I guess T-Wave is like, getting T-Waved here is bad, because then you're slower than Tauros, but you still live, like, you're already slower than Tauros. So, like, getting T-Wave doesn't even do a ton for you. I guess it lets, if you Blizzard on T-Wave, then the next turn, Chansey can Seismic Toss you, and now you're in Hyper Beam range, so you need to win a speed tie. So okay, actually, Jinx doesn't have the freest of Blizzards here. Yeah, okay. That's a thought I had watching quickly, but yeah, after sitting down and thinking, yeah, she doesn't have free Blizzards here. So actually, this is just a 50-50, probably. I mean, not the purest of 50-50s, but you know, both moves were reasonable for both players. So Serpi even wins this mind game to end the game, which is, I mean, crazy. It's just crazy how many things he got right, in terms of reads, in terms of plays, in terms of everything. It's insane. It's insane. It's crazy. It's crazy. I could not believe it when I saw every time Alice would get some luck, and Serpi would find some way to claw back. It was amazing. It was. I'm in awe. Okay, I will also tell you how the series ended, actually, because Serpi, on top of this great game, on game 2 he brought a very fascinating idea. He brought Starmie Executor Raidon, which obviously is not revolutionary, but he sleep-sacked Chansey. And I think it was planned, I haven't asked him, but I think it was pre-planned that he would just sack Chansey to sleep and play with Miagdon, all three. And it makes some good amount of sense, because when Miagdon was meta in 2018, it was because you had all three available. And so there is some magic that goes on with the synergies of those three Pokemon. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense to bring it back. I think it's a really clever idea. I want to investigate it more. Obviously, I've only seen it in one game. This game happened yesterday, so I haven't had time to properly go and play that sort of thing a million times myself in tests. But yeah, I think Serpi just wowed me this series. Like, game 1, it's incredible how he pulled this back. Game 2, fascinating preparation. This is easily the most impressive week I've seen from Serpi. Easily. And easily one of the most impressive weeks out of anybody this tournament, in my opinion. Like, it's crazy. He just did everything right. Like, I'm in love. Can I say it? I'm in love with what Serpi did. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like, this is why I play SPL, to watch somebody win so convincingly. It's wonderful. It's just lovely to see. I want more of this. It's insane. Yeah, sorry. I got very excited. Yeah, let's move on to the fourth set. The fourth set was my very own against Hayburner. And game 1 lasted 261 turns. And so I would show it because it's crazy, but it would take far too long, so I will just give you a summary. Game 1, I had a crazy matchup because Hayburner brought a crazy team. He brought Gengar, Slowbro, Jolteon, and 3 normals. And so I had Raidon. And Raidon, anytime it gets a free switch on Gengar or Jolteon, it just blows up the entire team because Slowbro is 3 KO'd by Earthquake. So on matchup alone, I should have won. But I fumbled, I took some garbage lines, and after taking those garbage lines, I was forced to... well, I wasn't forced to, but I felt the need to go Raidon on Chansey, and the Chansey had Ice Beam, obviously. But I took damage on Raidon that I really shouldn't have taken. And from that point onwards, like, I just misplayed my Raidon completely, and it was my easy win condition. And I misplayed it, and I feel really bad. It was not easy to play. Raidon is never easy to play. You always have to be very, very thoughtful about when to send Raidon in, when to find your turns to Earthquake. But I should have done better, undoubtedly. The line I took was not awful. I still had good odds to win. But I gave him chances, and he got those chances. He got a bit lucky. He got a very quick wake with Gengar, which I had sent to sleep. And yeah, he got back in the game, and he won in the end. And yeah, that was a very interesting game. I could spend 2 hours on that game alone, but I'm not going to. I'll just say that I think I fumbled it early on. I should have won that game convincingly if I had seen all the complex lines around Raiden. But those are very hard to see, honestly. Like, it's very, very difficult. It's the sort of thing that I will forgive myself for. Like, it's not like my series against Serpi, where in week 3, but I just played like garbage. I missed completely obvious things. Here I missed some very intricate lines. I needed to see like 20 turns ahead to see why those lines were bad. There was a lot of calculation involved, and I miscalculated slightly, and I went for a slightly worse line, and it beat me. But I'm not too upset. Obviously, I hate to lose, so when it's my fault that I lose, I'm furious. But it's easier to forgive than week 3 for sure. So that was game 1, and then in game 2. I brought a Jinx team, and my Jinx froze on second move, and so the game never really got anywhere. Like, I just had instant advantage, and yeah, that was that. I think it was going to be an even game without that freeze. It was one of those freezes that are just so early that you can't tell what would have happened without them. And in game 3, let's see. We have a Gengar tie. I land the Hypnosis, which is lucky. Then I T-Bolt. And then I've done this thing where I explode Gengar on Chansey in these situations almost immediately. And then I just play all out offense until the end of the game. And this Chansey eventually gets sacked, and it doesn't end up being a problem. And I've done this before with Gengar teams. And it's in my replays, and I think that's what Hayburner saw. But my idea here, my actual idea, is that this Chansey, what's it going to do to me? Like, is it singing? Like, what? I'm not in danger, so I can T-Bolt again, and so I think Hayburner switches out because he scouted this, but actually I have no intention of doing that, and so I T-Bolt again on Gengar, and here I explode because. Obviously, he cannot stay in with Gengar. That is too risky. Too risky. If he loses this Gengar, I just sleep another thing, and it's over. And so I just read that, and I explode immediately, and I find Chansey. And so now I am 5-4, clean. And presumably Gengar, Chansey were the two sleepers. Presumably they were Hypnosis and Sing. So I'm 5v4 up. Completely clean. If he ever wants to sack this Gengar, I have a Sing Chansey as well, so I can real sleep. So this is a crazy good position for me. And so here, yeah, Hayburner says GG in chat. Everybody thinks I've won. When I spoke to Troller, he told me when he saw this turn, he closed the game. He thought, okay, it's over, it's a win. So then why am I showing this? Well, the game is still long. And I can still fuck up. Here, this is the first of my small mistakes. I can Ice Beam freely. This is paralyzed, and I'm not paralyzed. I can Ice Beam. I'm Thunder Wave Ice Beam Sing, so I'm not like the most prepared to take on a Snorlax. But when it's paralyzed and I'm not, I'm completely safe. Like the only way this goes wrong is like with a miraculous Slam Crit plus Hyper Beam. Through paralysis, and like the odds are so bad, I should probably just be Ice Beaming and forcing it to rest and using that momentum somehow. But instead I go to my Snorlax immediately. He scouts counter, cool. So Reflect, Body Slam, and now I'm just playing this mirror. Okay, I get a crit. Doesn't really matter because it's Reflect, so I fish for another crit, but obviously that's extremely low odds. So we go again. And now I reveal Ice Beam, and this is why I went to Lex immediately here. If I had another Lex, I probably would have just Ice Beamed a bunch, because I would realize, you know, I need to pressure this Lex some other way. But since I had Ice Lex, I went to it immediately. It was probably still better to barrage it with Chansey Ice Beams first, but it's not a big mistake at all to go Lex first, because I still win this exchange. I still have this Ice Beam. He has to do something about this and give me some information about the rest of his team. So I Ice Beam again, no Freeds, but you know, that's reasonable. Again, I win this exchange long term, so I'm safe to do whatever. Here I click Body Slam, because I imagine that he will want to bail from this 1v1. Because he just loses this 1v1 in the long run. I Ice Beam until I freeze. So he kind of has to bail eventually. And I imagine turns 19, now that he has a full HP, well, as close to full HP as you will get Snorlax. I imagine this would be a turn where he would bail, maybe to a Starmie. And so I try to Body Slam to catch the Starmie. And then this motherfucker crits me. And so my hard-earned lead is now a 4-4. And there's a Jolteon on his team. So now it's a 4-4 and my matchup is garbage. Because I'll tell you right now, this is Starmie Zapdos. So Jolteon fucks me. He brought Jolteon game 1 and Rhydon game 2, so I thought surely he doesn't bring another Zapdos check. But he did bring another Zapdos check. So, you know, the misery. I still would have won this easily had my Lex been alive, but you know, not that lucky. And now I have to try and rescue this game, but my Zapdos is just walled. My Tauros is obviously the hope, because once this Jolteon gets T-waved like this, obviously I still have an extremely hard time switching into it. He doesn't respect counter, which I thought was curious. Oh yeah, of course. It would be too easy if I had a Chansey, so of course. Yeah, IFP, I think I T-waved. Yeah, I T-waved this turn, I think, or Ice Beam. But Ice Beam would have brought this in Hyper Beam range, so I don't remember exactly what I clicked, but something to get pissed off about. Now Gengar is free to be sacked, because I don't have a sleeper anymore. Now there's a Tauros. I try to Blizzard freeze it, because I think that's my cleanest way back into this game. It doesn't happen. I go Starmie in case of Hyper Beam, but he doesn't throw. And now this game is just kind of over. I have to lock this Jolteon somehow. I could try to stay with and Blizzard, but I'm Blizzard Thunderbolt, by the way, which is terribly sad into Jolteon, the worst possible set. If I had Psychic or Surf, I could click it here and fish. But yeah, no, I have Blizzard, so no luck with that. Like if I had Psychic here and I get a drop or a crit, like this is actually still entirely playable. But yeah, shit Starmie set, shit luck, shit everything. This Jolteon FPs, which I suppose is fine. And now I really don't want to risk my Tauros, because it's the only way out. Perhaps I should have just gone to it on rest here. But I felt like he might just Thunderbolt and go into a safer endgame. He didn't. So now I have to try and kill this with Zapdos. And my Zapdos pulls a miracle, honestly. Like, this is just insane. This is what I needed against Randomizer Golem in week 4. I tried for this 25 times and I never got it against Hayburner on a game that is already probably doomed. I get it first time, because of course. But yeah, okay, let's move on. Tauros, I sacked Zapdos because it's 10% paralyzed, it doesn't do anything. I go Starmie, I T-Wave. Here a crit or an FP lets me play the game still. And oh, he Body Slams instead of resting, which is bizarre. You should probably rest. Like, you've seen from Jolteon that I don't have a step to click. So you're Blitzbolt, so you walled me, so you should probably rest. But he Body Slams. And now I recover, because I need this Starmie to be healthy and take on Tauros after the kill. So I recover a bunch, and I finally get the FP. And okay. excuse me? How did we get here? I'm still winning. Probably. I don't know what his last is. This is the same exact team he brought game 1. And game 1 he had a Slowbro here. So, my Starmie, if this is a Slowbro, I have 3 volt Starmie. I can win, I can do this. Like, this is within the realm of the feasible still. I had to get some luck back for it, but we got there. So I just need the Starmie to hold. And not lose a 1v1 against Paralyzed Tauros. Does the Starmie hold? Okay. I want this to be healthy. I don't want to just blizzard into Tauros like carelessly, because I will need very many blizzards to kill this still, like at least 2 even with crits. So recover will have to happen. Especially because if I get paralyzed, like it's just nasty. So I basically have to recover every time I'm at 50 or less. At 66, I can blizzard. I risk crit body slam killing, but it's a bit risky. But it's not the end of the world. And yeah, okay, he gets a crit slam. He has FP'd never. Yeah, never. 3, 6 turns, no FPs. Maybe with an FP I would have been able to win this. But alas, when this crit para happens, I just kind of give up, like, on Starmie. I give up on Starmie and I say, well, I hope my Tauros can crit whatever your last is. And can my Tauros crit whatever the last is? It is indeed Slowbro again. I slam. He has Psychic, which doesn't kill. He told me this was Psychic Blizzard with no T-Wave, which is surely a set that exists, I guess. I don't know why you would run it. He told me it was a weird Executor lure. I'm still confused about that. But okay, if I Hyper Beam crit, I win the game. I Hyper Beam miss. Good night. That's it. I think it's fair to argue that I deserve the series. I think that's an argument that I will make, because game 1, yes, I played poorly, but I had an insane matchup and I still had great chances. And game 3, I mean, this game after the first 7 turns, like, you should just slash forfeit for honor, like, for your personal honor, you should slash forfeit there. Like, it's so filthy what I did to him, and it just wasn't enough because he crit my legs. What can I say? Yeah, I don't know. I will make the case that I probably had good chances game 1. Game 2 is an even game without the freezes. And game 3 I'm far ahead without luck. So I would say that with neutral luck, I probably win game 1. I definitely win game 3. And I maybe win game 2. And that's my case for why I deserve to win. But obviously he didn't play poorly at all. Obviously he played fairly well the entire series, and I missed a great chance to win game 1 if I had played my Rhydon correctly. So, you know, can only complain about luck so much when you give up chances like I did in game 1. That can definitely complain about luck game 3. So I will hold on to that at least. No, I mean, it's just a game sometimes. It sucks. It fucking sucks. I mean, I'm 2-4. I think I played at least 4-2 or 5-1. But I'm 2-4. I hate it. It's really hard to find the energy to keep recording these games and stuff. But, you know, the tournament goes on, and I really want to give these videos for the community, and I really want to show you know, deep insights into the game at a high level. And so even when things suck, I'll be here to show you how creatively I find ways to lose or get locked. But no, honestly, my wording has been a bit colored because I'm salty as fuck and I'm really sad, but Hayburner played well, so I want to make sure full credit to A. He had a very strong game. he wasn't perfect, but neither was I. So you know, completely reasonable. He played well. He played way better than he played last week for sure. And I think he's a great player when he is at his peak. So yeah, it's another L. Another L that I will have to hold. Tragic. And we get to the last series of the week. Friend of Mr. Golem 120 against the new buy of the Cryonicles, Koalacance. He was bought in mid-season to patch up the X-Line Groudon adventures, which were not greatly successful. So let's see if he can take down Friend of Mr. Golem, who is 4-1 but has been incredibly lucky so far. Let's see. So he dodges Lovelace, which is great. And Koala just goes for this T-Wave spam approach, which is interesting. It's interesting because against Jinx, there's an argument to be made that you can kill the Jinx with Double-Edge Exeggutor and then move the fuck on and just fucking, you know, sleep something else and you're a full Pokemon up. So that's the argument against Jinx. Which is she can die easily to Double Edge or Hyper Beam Exeggutors, and then you're a Pokemon down. That's the weakness of Jinx. But Koala evidently doesn't have Hyper Beam or Double Edge Exeggutor, or doesn't want to go for that. He just says, you have Jinx? I don't care, Jinx sucks. I'm just going to T-Wave spam you immediately, and I don't care about sleep. If you want to sleep block with Jinx, be my guest, I will just T-Wave you, which is a fun approach. Friend of Mr. Golem does this weird Chansey pivot first before going to Rhydon. Perhaps he expected a double, but it's just weird. Like on Jolteon, on turn 2, you can Rhydon. Like you're fine. Like you've missed Lovelace, okay, go Rhydon. Like what's going to happen to you? Like it can't be that bad. But no, he takes double kick damage. So now there's an Exeggutor, but it's obviously sleep blocked by Jinx and Chansey. And so Snorlax comes in. And Friend of Mr. Golem doesn't want to risk Lovelace's dodge or miss or FP, which is reasonable. But I think sleeping Snorlax is so high value that I would go for it. I know it's extremely dangerous. But I think that's the sort of risk that you can take. Like, if Friend of Mr. Golem went for those Boomon Sing Dodge lines in the past, he should probably also go for this, right? Like, if that's the kind of play that you will risk, like, why not risk this? I'm not sure. Because, like, sleeping Snorlax is massive. Like, your opponent just loses a massive pressure point. Your chance it becomes a million times better immediately. It's just crazy to me that you would not take that Lovelace, but okay, it's a decision you can take. You can wait for a safer Lovelace opportunity. Okay, Body Slam on Lax. Reflect goes down. There you go. Body Slam again. Obviously, if Foam gets switched on by Exeggutor, this can get bad. And he does get switched on by Exeggutor. This is a little bad. Koala gets the read, up Psychicking on sleep. Doubles Lax again. And now surely you can Lovelace, but he gets... Jinx gets Hyper Beam. And this is a roll. It's like 40% to kill. This is extremely risky. Koala is basically gambling on his lags, like he's saying, okay, you know, fuck it, I will give up this lags for the chance of ruining your game. And honestly, when I calculate the odds, it's not awful. Like, if you're saying that you can give up this lags anyway because you've done enough with it, I mean, have you though? Like, there's a 71% paralyzed chance. Do you really want to give up lags against that? I don't know. But, you know, the upside is there. Like, it's reasonable for this Jinx to not Lovelace you, even if you have to recharge. Over 2 turns, it's reasonable for Jinx to miss both. Like, it's not great odds, but it's very... like, they exist. Plus, if you get the roll, it's obviously just fucking over. Like, you ruin him. you're playing 6v5 and Fomix 5 are not the sturdiest already. Like Chance is paralyzed, Lex is sleeping. So friend of Mr. Golem immediately just resorts to Blizzard, and which I'm not sure if I agree with. Like Body Slam crit here is great. Blizzard crit, you need another. Body Slam crit, I think you were in Hyper Beam range now, but no matter. He crits anyway, twice on rest. Yep. And so Lex dies, and so this is a 5v5 again. But this Executor is angry, gets a crit, and then Hyper Beam kills. And so, I mean, this game is just, there is nothing to analyze. It's just like Pokemon go in and they click the stab move and something wild happens, like this Psycrit. Like, what do I say? There was some interesting stuff around the Love the Kiss. But yeah, now it's just, yeah, Koala needs to get sleep. If he gets sleep, this is over. Like, this is just 5v3, it's completely over. But he too refuses to risk. I would take this. I would just stay and sleep powder. But I get that he has a Jolteon into Raiden matchup, so he wants to keep Executor healthy. Like, that makes sense. But I don't know. Like, sleep is so good. Like, I think you probably win this endgame if you just sleep something. But okay, fair enough. Now you have Chansey to handle Lex. You can probably be okay. Ice Beams go down. Still no Freeds. Starmie on Starmie. Executor on Starmie. I mean, Seti Wave Absorb, it makes sense, but if you were unwilling to risk Executor on Body Slam, why are you willing to risk Executor on Blizzard? Is a good question. I don't have an answer to that. Yeah, if you're going to risk now, why did you not risk earlier? I don't know. And now an FP gets Executor down to 51, which is danger territory. 22 is extreme danger territory. But yeah, okay. Lex for Executor traded. If you just sleep powdered, you would have gotten the same effect. And probably an explosion out of it. But okay, it's fine. T-Wave goes down. This is nice for Koala. Presumably. I don't know. I imagine it's nice for Koala. Okay, it is nice for Koala. Because this Starmie is now walled. Chansey Surf T-Bolt Starmie does nothing to Chansey. And Koala, okay, he's Ice Beaming because he doesn't want to let Raiden switch in. But this is probably Bolt Beam, right? Like, you have another sleeper. Like, this is either Ice Counter or Bolt Beam. Okay, it is T-Bolt. I would make the argument that Koala should have spammed Softened Ice way more than this. Because you are under absolutely no threat of Starmie doing anything to you, unless you get crit by Surf. And so here, where you are at 77 and Surf is incoming, just soft. Like, you're wasting like some 10% HP, but like, that doesn't matter. Like, just soft. Just be safe against Raiden, because that's the one way maybe Fom can still beat you. So I don't like this T-Bolt. But Venom Mr. Golem just heals up. And this Chansey FPs twice, which sucks. It sucks. But also at the same time, kind of that's why you soft boiled on this turn instead of T-bolting, because like a couple things go wrong and all of a sudden you're in trouble. So now he has to sack Jolteon, which is an entirely fair play. He double kicks predicting Raiden. Maybe it would have been better to just T-bolt. I don't know why friend of Mr. Golem body slams. Maybe he was trying to catch Starmie double. But it's pretty clear to me that this was a Jolteon sack from Koala, and he could have Hyper Beamed or EQ'd. But okay, fine. Now Starmie comes in, and Starmie has Psychic. But does it also have T-Bolt? Because if it has T-Bolt, this game is over. It switches out, it doesn't have T-Bolt. And okay, this perhaps Koala could have... I mean, it's hard to say, because friend of Mr. Golem can either gamble on no T-Bolt. He can just say, you know, if you have T-Bolt, the game ends here, and I lose. Or he can try to hang around and say, okay, you're probably T-Bolt, I'm going to go Raiden. I think it's reasonable for Koala to say, friend of Mr. Golem will gamble on no T-Bolt here. He has to gamble on no T-Bolt. Because if I have T-Bolt on this Starmie, like Rhydon still doesn't beat Starmie. Like, so I think it's reasonable for Koala to make the assumption that friend of Mr. Golem will gamble on no T-Bolt. And if you're gambling on no T-Bolt, you just stay with me. And try to T-wave this maybe. So I think it's fair for him to go Chansey. It's entirely fair. I probably would have done the same. But friend of Mr. Golem goes Rhydon. He tries to catch a Thunderbolt and instead catches much better. He catches a Chansey Switchback. So I don't know exactly. I can't read people's minds. I don't know what exactly they were thinking, but this is an interesting turn. And I think if I were friend of Mr. Golem, I would have just gambled on no T-Bolt and I would have gotten owned for it. So, I mean, a funny turn. Probably at the end, regardless of all of these considerations, it ends up being close to 50-50. But, okay, recover here. Risks Body Slam Para. Body Slam Para would have ruined him. But okay, doubles again. And now Chansey drops. And now Koala is in trouble. This Rhydon is extremely powerful, doubling onto 50% HP Chansey. And this, remember, this all happened because he rushed the T-Bolt. I don't think he should have rushed. If this Chansey is at full HP, it's way scarier, way harder to handle. And my thing is just Surf T-Bolt is no threat to you. Like, you really don't need to go aggressive with T-Bolts. You can soft a million times and then T-Bolt once you're safe. So yeah, that's I have an issue with how Koala played that one. He should have had this endgame much safer. But he's still in this. And yeah, okay, Tauros EQ, Tauros Blizzard. From Mr. Golem just gives up Rhydon because he doesn't have clean switches on Tauros. And now Starmie comes in. And his Starmie has T-Bolt and the enemy Starmie does not have T-Bolt. Can he win this 1v1? Through the Psychic drops. Okay, Koala switches to Tauros. Which, this play makes no sense to me. Because I think the idea is you fish full para on recover. And if you get it, Tauros can Hyper Beam down and win. But if this Starmie full paras on Psychic, it also dies. So I don't get the switch out. Like, obviously, you're Meek NFP, so your chances are lower. But I don't know. I just think this play, like, is just so much worse if Starmie doesn't have P. Because, like, if Starmie doesn't have P and it recovers, like, with Psychic, you still have dropout. Like, you can drop again, and then you're seriously piling on pressure. Tauros doesn't have pressure. Like, Tauros on recover, you just give up most of the offensive pressure that you have here. So, okay, friend of Mr. Golem plays it safe. He thinks he's favored, and he's right. But he needs to get a crit before he gets dropped to Oblivion. Will he do it? Okay, 2 Psychics, no drops. FP. T-Bolt crit. Okay, there you go. And so now Koala probably needs to crit. Most likely needs to crit an Hyper Beam. He can Body Slam on T-Wave because he's faster than this. But then friend of Mr. Golem can just switch out after T-Wave, clear the speed drop, and probably win with like Surf or even just recover, stall, you know, lots of things. So it's a tricky situation, but I think Hyper Beam crit is correct. Okay, he Body Slams, he gets T-Waved. Yeah, see, this is the problem now. Tauros comes in, like, okay, you sack. But now this Starmie, I think it's in range of Hyper Beam, so recover is probably right. Like, you recover until you're out of Hyper Beam range. But you're never out of Hyper Beam crit range, and so Koala wins. And this was game 2. Koala won game 1 with luck. It's another one of those games where he got too lucky before the game even really started to really tell what would have happened without luck. But game 2, this is it. And Koala wins 2-0. And it's a good debut for him. He played fine. Friend of Mr. Golem also played fine. But a series that was very much decided by luck. Every few turns, some crazy full pair would happen and shit. So it's really hard to make judgments off of this. But Koala starts off his SPL campaign well with a 1-0, and Friend of Mr. Golem finally gets, at last, someone gets lucky against Friend of Mr. Golem. It hadn't happened so far this SPL. He had lucked both me and Serpi, so some justice, which we love to see. We love justice. I think we would all agree justice is a great thing. I think that's a good way to end this recap. Hooray for justice. Thanks for watching.